My name is Rachel, and this Christmas changed everything. My sister Victoria looked me straight in the eye during our family dinner and declared, "You're not really family, Rachel. You never have been." 3 hours later, I stood in that same dining room and read our grandfather's will out loud for the first time. The silence that followed her words was nothing compared to the stunned shock that filled the room when I finished reading what Grandpa had really left behind. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed. Because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special for you. At 28 years old, I had spent my entire life trying to understand why I felt like an outsider in my own family. The feeling had always been there, lurking beneath the surface of every family gathering, every holiday celebration, and every milestone moment that should have brought us closer together. My sister Victoria, 3 years older than me, had always occupied the position of the golden child in our household. She possessed the kind of effortless confidence and social grace that seemed to come naturally to some people, while remaining forever elusive to others. Victoria graduated summa cum laude from prestigious Whitmore University with a degree in international business, landed a coveted position at Morrison & Associates investment firm immediately after graduation, and maintained the kind of social circle that included lawyers, doctors, and successful entrepreneurs. My parents, Margaret and Charles Thornton, had built their lives around Victorian sensibilities and traditional expectations of success. My father worked as a senior partner at Thornton Blackwell & Hayes, a law firm that his own father had helped establish decades earlier. My mother came from old money, the kind of generational wealth that provided security and social standing without requiring active effort to maintain. Their marriage represented the merger of two prominent families in our city of Millbrook Heights, an affluent community where reputation and appearances carried significant weight in determining social standing and business opportunities. The Thornton name commanded respect in legal circles, while my mother's family, the Westbrooks, had maintained influence in banking and real estate for 3 generations. Victoria fit seamlessly into this world of expectations and traditions. She understood the unspoken rules of social interaction, possessed natural talents for networking and relationship building, and demonstrated the kind of ambition that our parents recognized and rewarded. Her achievements reflected well on the family name and confirmed their beliefs about proper upbringing and education. I represented something different entirely. While Victoria excelled in traditional academic subjects and social activities, I gravitated toward creative pursuits and independent thinking that often put me at odds with family expectations. My interests in photography, writing, and community volunteer work seemed frivolous to parents who valued measurable achievements and professional advancement. The contrast became apparent early in our childhood. Victoria received praise and attention for bringing home perfect report cards, winning academic competitions, and maintaining friendships with children from other prominent families. My accomplishments in art contests, writing competitions, and community service projects received polite acknowledgement but lacked the enthusiasm that greeted Victoria's achievements. Our grandfather, Samuel Thornton, represented the one exception to this pattern of differential treatment. Grandpa Sam had built the family law firm from nothing, starting as a solo practitioner who worked 18-hour days to establish his reputation and client base. He understood the value of determination, creativity, and independent thinking in ways that his own son seemed to have forgotten. During my childhood, Grandpa Sam would spend hours talking with me about my interests and ambitions. He encouraged my photography, helped me develop my writing skills, and shared stories about building his business through persistence and innovative thinking. These conversations took place during family gatherings, when others were focused on Victoria's latest achievements or social activities. Grandpa Sam often told me that success required more than following established paths and meeting conventional expectations. He believed that real accomplishment came from identifying unique opportunities and pursuing them with dedication and strategic thinking. These lessons resonated with me deeply, even though I struggled to apply them within our family dynamic. The family home in Millbrook Heights reflected our parents' commitment to maintaining appearances and traditional values. The Georgian colonial mansion sat on 3 acres of meticulously maintained grounds, complete with formal gardens, a tennis court, and a pool house that hosted numerous social gatherings throughout the year. Inside, the house showcased our family's history and achievements through carefully curated displays of awards, photographs, and ancestral portraits. The formal dining room contained a mahogany table that could seat 16 people, surrounded by antique chairs that had been passed down through generations of Thorntons. Victoria's bedroom occupied the prime location on the second floor, overlooking the formal gardens and featuring a private sitting area where she could entertain friends. My room, while comfortable, was smaller and located at the rear of the house with views of the service area and garage. These physical arrangements reinforced the subtle but persistent message that Victoria held the favored position within our family hierarchy. The differences seemed small individually, but their cumulative effect created an environment where my secondary status was constantly reinforced through countless daily interactions and arrangements. Family dinners became exercises in managing my expectations and maintaining appropriate behavior. Conversations typically focused on Victoria's professional achievements, social activities, and future plans. My work as a freelance photographer and part-time writing instructor received minimal attention unless specifically prompted by direct questions. The dynamic became particularly pronounced during holiday celebrations and family gatherings. Extended family members would inquire about Victoria's career progress and dating prospects, while treating my professional activities as temporary interests rather than serious commitments. The assumption seemed to be that I would eventually settle into a more conventional lifestyle that aligned with family expectations. My relationship with our parents reflected this underlying tension between my authentic interests and their hopes for traditional success. They provided financial support when necessary and maintained appropriate levels of concern for my welfare, but their enthusiasm and pride remained clearly focused on Victoria's accomplishments. The emotional distance created by these dynamics affected my confidence and sense of belonging within our family structure. I began to question whether my interests and values aligned with what it meant to be a Thornton, or whether I represented some kind of deviation from family traditions that needed to be corrected or overlooked. Professional relationships outside our family provided different feedback about my capabilities and potential. Clients appreciated my photography skills and creative vision, while students in my writing workshops responded positively to my teaching methods and encouragement. These external validations suggested that my talents had value, even if they failed to generate recognition within my own family. The contradiction between my professional success and family standing created internal conflict that I struggled to resolve. I understood that Victoria's achievements were genuinely impressive and deserving of recognition, but I also believed that my own accomplishments had merit and significance that extended beyond family approval. Christmas had always represented the most challenging time of year for navigating these family dynamics. The holiday traditions emphasized togetherness and celebration, but they also highlighted the differences in how Victoria and I were perceived and treated by our extended family and parents. This particular Christmas promised to be even more complicated than usual. Victoria had recently received a promotion to senior associate at her investment firm, an achievement that had generated weeks of celebration and congratulation from our parents and extended family. My own recent success in landing a contract to photograph a series of community development projects had received polite acknowledgement but minimal enthusiasm. The stage was set for another holiday gathering where I would struggle to find my place within family conversations and traditions that seemed designed to celebrate achievements and values that differed significantly from my own interests and priorities. As I prepared for Christmas dinner at our family home, I had no way of anticipating that this gathering would fundamentally change my understanding of my place within the Thornton family legacy. The conversation that would unfold over dinner, and the discovery that would follow, would transform everything I thought I knew about family loyalty, inheritance, and the true nature of belonging. The irony was that I had been carrying the key to understanding my family position for weeks without realizing its significance. Grandpa Sam's will, which I had been asked to read during the family gathering, contained revelations that would expose the reality behind years of differential treatment and family dynamics that had shaped my entire life experience. But first, I had to survive Christmas dinner and the conversation that would push our family tensions beyond the breaking point. 3 weeks before that fateful Christmas dinner, I received a phone call that would fundamentally alter my understanding of my place within the Thornton family. The call came from Harrison Mitchell, Grandpa Sam's longtime attorney and the executor of his estate. Mr. Mitchell had been handling our family's legal affairs for over 30 years and possessed the kind of gravitas that came from decades of managing complex family situations. "Rachel," Mr. Mitchell said in his measured, professional tone, "I need to discuss an important matter regarding your grandfather's final wishes. Could you come to my office this week? There are certain documents he left specifically for you to handle." The request surprised me for several reasons. First, Grandpa Sam had passed away 8 months earlier, and we had already attended what we believed was the complete reading of his will. Second, my father, as the eldest son and head of the family law firm, typically handled all legal matters for our family. The idea that Grandpa Sam had left specific instructions for me seemed unusual given my peripheral position within family decision-making processes. I arrived at Mitchell & Associates on a gray Tuesday afternoon in December. The law office occupied the top floor of the historic Millbrook building downtown, with floor-to-ceiling windows that provided panoramic views of the city where my grandfather had built his legal career from nothing. The waiting area displayed photographs documenting the firm's history, including several images of Grandpa Sam from his early days as a solo practitioner. Mr. Mitchell greeted me personally, which struck me as significant given his senior position and busy schedule. He led me to his private office, a space that reflected decades of successful legal practice through its impressive library, antique furnishings, and walls lined with professional achievements and community recognition awards. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. "Rachel," Mr. Mitchell began as we settled into leather chairs near his mahogany desk, "your grandfather left very specific instructions regarding certain aspects of his estate that were not addressed during the primary will reading. He wanted you to handle these matters personally, and he was quite insistent that you should be the one to execute his final wishes." He handed me a sealed envelope with my name written in Grandpa Sam's distinctive handwriting. The envelope felt substantial, suggesting it contained more than a simple letter or minor bequest. Mr. Mitchell watched as I examined the envelope, his expression indicating that he understood the significance of whatever was contained inside. "Samuel spent considerable time preparing these materials," Mr. Mitchell explained. "He came to my office multiple times during his final months to ensure that everything was arranged exactly as he intended. He specifically requested that you receive these documents 3 weeks before Christmas, and that you should read them carefully before any family gatherings." I opened the envelope with trembling hands, unsure what to expect but sensing that the contents would be important. Inside, I found a handwritten letter from Grandpa Sam, along with several legal documents that appeared to be amendments or additions to his original will. The letter was dated just 6 weeks before his death, suggesting that these were among his final communications. The letter began with typical Grandpa Sam warmth and directness. "My dearest Rachel," he had written in his careful script, "if you are reading this letter, then Harrison has followed my instructions and provided you with these materials at the appropriate time. What you will discover in these documents may surprise you, but I want you to understand that every decision I made was based on careful observation of who you truly are and what you represent for our family's future." As I continued reading, the letter revealed insights about my grandfather's perspective on our family dynamics that I had never fully understood. He wrote about watching me grow up and recognizing qualities that he believed were essential for genuine success and happiness. According to his letter, my creative pursuits, independent thinking, and commitment to helping others represented the values that he had tried to instill in his own children and grandchildren. "Rachel," the letter continued, "you have always reminded me of myself at your age. Not because we share similar talents or interests, but because you possess the courage to pursue your own path despite family expectations or social pressures. This quality is rarer and more valuable than conventional achievements, and it represents the foundation upon which lasting success is built." Grandpa Sam wrote about his concerns regarding the direction our family had taken in recent generations. He expressed worry that the emphasis on traditional success markers and social standing had overshadowed the values of creativity, independence, and genuine service to others that he considered essential for meaningful accomplishment. The letter revealed that Grandpa Sam had been quietly observing family dynamics for years, noting how Victoria and I were treated differently, and how these differences affected our development and opportunities. He had recognized the subtle but persistent patterns of favoritism that I had experienced but never fully understood or articulated. "I have watched you struggle to find your place within our family structure," he wrote, "and I have seen how your unique talents and perspectives have been undervalued by people who should have recognized and encouraged them. This situation is not a reflection of your worth or potential, but rather an indication that our family has lost sight of what truly matters." The legal documents attached to the letter contained revelations that fundamentally changed my understanding of Grandpa Sam's estate planning and his intentions for our family's future. The documents revealed that the will reading we had attended 8 months earlier had addressed only a portion of his estate. The remainder, which was substantial, had been placed in a trust with specific conditions and beneficiaries that had not been disclosed during the primary reading. According to these documents, Grandpa Sam had created what legal professionals call a, quote, conditional inheritance trust that would distribute assets based on specific criteria and circumstances. The trust contained detailed provisions for family members who demonstrated particular qualities or achieved certain milestones that aligned with his values and priorities. The documents revealed that I had been designated as the primary beneficiary of this additional trust, which included not only financial assets, but also the family's original homestead property, business interests that Grandpa Sam had maintained separately from the law firm, and personal items that held significant sentimental and historical value. The trust conditions were both specific and meaningful. To access the inheritance, I needed to demonstrate continued commitment to creative pursuits and community service, maintain financial independence through my own professional efforts, and show evidence of using my talents to help others achieve their potential. These requirements reflected Grandpa Sam's understanding of my interests and his belief in their importance. More significantly, the documents revealed that Grandpa Sam had been financially supporting my photography business and writing career through anonymous contributions and strategic connections that I had never realized came from him. Client referrals that I had attributed to my own networking efforts, equipment grants that I thought came from arts organizations, and teaching opportunities that seemed to arise through random connections had actually been facilitated by his behind-the-scenes involvement. This revelation reframed my understanding of my own professional success and independence. While I had genuinely earned my achievements through hard work and talent, Grandpa Sam had been quietly removing obstacles and creating opportunities that allowed my abilities to flourish. His support had been carefully designed to enhance my efforts without undermining my sense of personal accomplishment. The letter explained his reasoning for this approach. "Rachel," he wrote, "I wanted you to develop confidence in your own abilities and judgment, without depending on family connections or expectations. The support I provided was intended to level the playing field, not to create artificial success. Your achievements are genuine and deserved, regardless of the assistance I provided in creating opportunities." The documents also contain detailed instructions for how and when this information should be shared with our family. Grandpa Sam had specified that the additional trust and its provisions should be revealed during our Christmas gathering, with me responsible for reading the relevant portions of his will out loud to the assembled family members. His letter explained that he had chosen Christmas for this revelation because he wanted the information to be shared during a time when our family traditionally emphasized togetherness and gratitude. He hoped that learning about his true intentions and observations would encourage our family members to reconsider their priorities and treatment of one another. "I realize this situation will create surprise and perhaps some tension," Grandpa Sam had written. "But I believe our family needs to confront the reality of how we treat each other and what we truly value. My hope is that this information will lead to better understanding and more genuine relationships among all family members." The weight of this responsibility felt overwhelming as I sat in Mr. Mitchell's office, trying to process the implications of everything I had just learned. The revelation that Grandpa Sam had been observing and documenting our family dynamics, that he had created specific provisions to address what he saw as unfair treatment, and that he had chosen me as the vehicle for these revelations, created a mixture of validation and anxiety that was difficult to manage. Mr. Mitchell had remained silent while I read through the materials, but his expression indicated that he understood the significance of what had been revealed. When I finished reading, he spoke carefully about the legal obligations and options that were now before me. Samuel was very clear about his intentions. Mr. Mitchell explained, "These documents are legally binding, and the trust provisions will take effect regardless of family reactions or preferences. However, how you choose to handle the revelation and family communication is entirely up to you. Samuel trusted your judgment about the best approach for sharing this information." The drive home from Mr. Mitchell's office provided time for reflection about the implications of what I had learned. The revelation that Grandpa Sam had seen and understood the family dynamics that I had experienced, that he had taken concrete steps to address what he viewed as unfair treatment, and that he had positioned me to inherit substantial assets, created a fundamental shift in my self-perception and family relationships. For the first time in my life, I understood that my feelings of being undervalued and overlooked within our family were not imagined or oversensitive reactions to normal family dynamics. Grandpa Sam, who had observed our family with the wisdom and experience of his years, had reached similar conclusions about how I was treated and had taken action to address what he saw as injustice. The knowledge that I would soon inherit significant assets also created new confidence about my future independence and security. The financial resources would enable me to expand my photography business, pursue advanced writing projects, and engage in community service activities without worrying about basic financial stability. More importantly, the revelation provided emotional validation that my interests and values had worth and significance beyond family recognition. Grandpa Sam's careful planning and detailed instructions demonstrated that someone who knew me well believed in my potential and wanted to ensure that I had opportunities to achieve meaningful success. As Christmas approached, I carried this knowledge with the understanding that our family gathering would become a moment of truth that would forever change our relationships and dynamics. The conversation that Victoria would initiate with her declaration that I was not really family would provide the perfect opportunity to share Grandpa Sam's true assessment of who belonged and who had been truly valued. The anticipation of that moment created a mixture of nervousness and empowerment that I had never experienced before. For the first time in my life, I would enter a family gathering with knowledge and authority that could fundamentally alter how our family members viewed themselves and each other. The 3 weeks between my meeting with Mr. Mitchell and Christmas dinner became a period of intensive research and strategic preparation that would transform how I approached family relationships and personal advocacy. Armed with knowledge of Grandpa Sam's true intentions and the substantial inheritance that awaited me, I embarked on a systematic analysis of our family dynamics that revealed patterns and insights I had never previously recognized. My first priority involved thoroughly understanding the legal documents and trust provisions that Grandpa Sam had created. I spent hours studying every clause, condition, and specification contained within the materials Mr. Mitchell had provided. The complexity and sophistication of the arrangements demonstrated that Grandpa Sam had invested considerable time and professional expertise in creating a comprehensive plan for addressing what he viewed as fundamental problems within our family structure. The trust documents revealed multiple layers of planning that extended far beyond simple asset distribution. Grandpa Sam had established educational funds for future generations, created charitable foundations that would continue his community service legacy, and developed business investment vehicles that could provide ongoing income while supporting entrepreneurial activities that aligned with his values. The financial scope of these arrangements was substantially larger than anything I had imagined. The trust assets included real estate holdings throughout the metropolitan area, investment portfolios that had been carefully managed for decades, and business interests that generated significant ongoing revenue. The total value represented generational wealth that could provide security and opportunity for multiple family branches if managed responsibly. More significantly, the documents revealed that Grandpa Sam had been documenting family interactions and relationships for years through detailed notes and observations that formed the basis for his inheritance decisions. These records provided an objective analysis of family dynamics that validated my own experiences while revealing additional patterns that I had not fully recognized. According to his documentation, Grandpa Sam had observed systematic differences in how Victoria and I were treated during family gatherings, holiday celebrations, and milestone events throughout our lives. He had recorded specific examples of conversations, gift-giving patterns, and attention allocation that demonstrated clear favoritism toward Victoria, despite my own accomplishments and contributions. His notes revealed particular concern about how our parents had failed to recognize or encourage my creative talents and community service activities. He had documented instances where my achievements were minimized or overlooked, while Victoria's accomplishments received disproportionate celebration and recognition. These observations provided external validation for experiences that I had sometimes questioned or attributed to oversensitivity. The documentation also revealed that Grandpa Sam had attempted to address these imbalances through direct conversations with our parents and other family members. He had repeatedly expressed concern about the differential treatment and had encouraged more equitable recognition and support for both granddaughters. However, his efforts to promote change through direct communication had been unsuccessful, leading to his decision to address the situation through estate planning and inheritance provisions. This historical context helped me understand that my feelings of being undervalued within our family were not imaginary or exaggerated reactions to normal family dynamics. An objective observer, with decades of experience in human behavior and family relationships, had reached similar conclusions about treatment patterns and had taken concrete action to address what he viewed as unfair and damaging practices. The research phase also involved developing a comprehensive understanding of my legal rights and obligations under the trust provisions. I consulted with an independent attorney who specialized in estate planning and trust administration to ensure that I fully understood the implications of accepting the inheritance and the responsibilities that would accompany the financial assets. The legal consultation revealed that the trust had been structured to provide maximum flexibility and protection, while ensuring that the assets would be used in ways that honored Grandpa Sam's values and intentions. The provisions included safeguards against family pressure or manipulation, legal protections for my independent decision-making authority, and mechanisms for ensuring that the inheritance would continue to benefit future generations according to established principles. Understanding the legal framework provided confidence and security that would be essential during the upcoming family confrontation. I realized that my position was protected by professional legal planning that could not be undermined by family disapproval or emotional manipulation. This knowledge created a foundation of strength that would enable me to communicate with authority and conviction during difficult conversations. The preparation phase also involved developing a comprehensive strategy for presenting the inheritance information to our family during Christmas dinner. I recognized that the revelation would create shock, surprise, and possibly resistance from family members who had not anticipated these arrangements. My approach needed to be thoughtful, respectful, and effective in communicating the significance of Grandpa Sam's decisions. I studied effective communication techniques for delivering difficult or unexpected information in emotionally charged situations. The research emphasized the importance of remaining calm, providing clear factual information, and allowing others time to process revelations before expecting rational responses. These principles would be essential for managing the family dynamics that would emerge when the inheritance information was shared. I also prepared for various potential reactions and responses from different family members. Victoria's likely response of anger and disbelief would need to be addressed with patience and understanding, while maintaining firm boundaries about the legal realities. My parents' potential disappointment or confusion would require empathetic communication that acknowledged their feelings while explaining the reasoning behind Grandpa Sam's decisions. The strategic planning process included developing specific talking points and responses for common questions or challenges that might arise during the inheritance discussion. I anticipated questions about the timing of the revelation, the legal validity of the arrangements, and the reasoning behind Grandpa Sam's decisions. Preparing thoughtful responses to these concerns would enable more effective communication during what would inevitably be an emotionally intense conversation. I also researched family inheritance disputes and their resolution to understand potential challenges that might emerge after the initial revelation. The research indicated that clear legal documentation, professional estate planning, and transparent communication could prevent most serious conflicts, while ensuring that family relationships could eventually recover from initial tensions. The preparation period provided opportunities to reflect on my own goals and priorities for the inheritance assets. I developed preliminary plans for using the financial resources to expand my photography business, establish educational programs for aspiring artists, and create community service initiatives that would honor Grandpa Sam's legacy while pursuing my own interests and values. These planning activities helped me recognize that the inheritance represented not just financial security, but also responsibility for continuing the values and principles that had motivated Grandpa Sam's lifetime of service and achievement. The assets would enable me to pursue meaningful work and community contribution without the financial constraints that had previously limited my options and opportunities. The research phase also involved studying successful family business transitions and inheritance management to understand best practices for maintaining family relationships while exercising independent authority over significant assets. The literature emphasized the importance of clear communication, consistent decision-making, and generous consideration for family members who might be affected by inheritance arrangements. I developed preliminary plans for using portions of the inheritance to benefit other family members in ways that would honor Grandpa Sam's intentions while demonstrating my commitment to family welfare. These plans included educational support for younger cousins, assistance for family members facing financial challenges, and collaborative projects that could bring the family together around shared values and objectives. The comprehensive preparation also involved emotional and psychological readiness for the confrontation that would occur during Christmas dinner. I recognized that Victoria's declaration about my family status would provide the perfect opportunity to reveal the inheritance information. But the conversation would require emotional strength and strategic communication skills that I had never previously needed to demonstrate. I practiced remaining calm and confident while delivering potentially shocking information to people who might respond with anger, disbelief, or resentment. The practice sessions helped me develop the poise and authority that would be necessary for managing a complex family dynamic while ensuring that important information was communicated effectively. The research and preparation phase concluded with my recognition that the upcoming Christmas dinner represented a pivotal moment that would fundamentally alter our family relationships and my position within the family structure. The knowledge and authority I had gained through understanding Grandpa Sam's true intentions would enable me to respond to family challenges with confidence and dignity. For the first time in my life, I would enter a family gathering with comprehensive understanding of my actual value and significance within our family legacy. The revelation that Grandpa Sam had recognized and rewarded my unique contributions would provide the foundation for asserting my rightful place within the family hierarchy. The strategic preparation had transformed my approach to family relationships from reactive accommodation to proactive leadership based on legal authority and moral confidence. I understood that the inheritance represented not just financial resources, but also validation of my values and recognition of my potential for meaningful contribution to our family's future. As Christmas approached, I carried this knowledge with anticipation rather than anxiety. The conversation that Victoria would initiate with her declaration about my family status would provide the opportunity I needed to share the truth about Grandpa Sam's assessment of who truly belonged and who had been genuinely valued within our family structure. The preparation period had equipped me with the knowledge, legal authority, and emotional confidence necessary to handle whatever reactions and challenges would emerge from revealing the inheritance information. I was ready to step into the leadership role that Grandpa Sam had envisioned for me, and to begin the process of transforming our family dynamics according to principles of fairness, recognition, and genuine appreciation for diverse talents and contributions. The weeks following my discovery of Grandpa Sam's inheritance documents required more than simply understanding legal provisions and family dynamics. I recognized that successfully navigating the upcoming Christmas confrontation would demand specific personal and professional skills that I had never previously needed to develop. The situation called for capabilities in conflict resolution, strategic communication, and leadership under pressure that extended far beyond my existing expertise in photography and writing. My first priority involved developing advanced communication skills that would enable me to present complex and potentially shocking information to family members who might respond with anger, disbelief, or emotional manipulation. I enrolled in a professional development workshop titled Difficult Conversations in High-Stakes Environments, offered through the Millbrook Professional Development Institute. The course was designed for business executives and legal professionals who needed to deliver challenging information while maintaining relationships and achieving desired outcomes. The workshop curriculum addressed specific techniques for managing emotional reactions, maintaining personal composure under pressure, and structuring conversations to maximize understanding while minimizing defensive responses. The instructor, Dr. Patricia Williams, was a corporate consultant who specialized in family business transitions and inheritance disputes. Her expertise proved invaluable for understanding the psychological dynamics that would likely emerge during our Christmas gathering. Dr. Williams taught the importance of preparing clear, factual statements that could be delivered calmly and confidently, regardless of audience reactions. She emphasized that successful, difficult conversations required advanced planning of key messages, anticipated responses to common challenges, and strategic approaches for redirecting emotional confrontations toward productive dialogue. The training included role-playing exercises, where participants practiced delivering difficult information while managing hostile or emotional responses from simulated family members. These practice sessions helped me develop the emotional regulation skills necessary for remaining calm and authoritative when facing anger, accusations, or attempts at emotional manipulation. One particularly valuable lesson addressed the psychology of inheritance disputes and family power dynamics. Dr. Williams explained that inheritance revelations often trigger deep-seated insecurities and competitive feelings among family members who have invested their identities in particular family positions or expectations. Understanding these psychological patterns would enable me to respond with empathy while maintaining firm boundaries about legal realities. The communication training also addressed specific techniques for establishing and maintaining authority during challenging conversations. Dr. Williams taught that authority in family situations comes not from aggressive behavior or emotional manipulation, but from demonstrated competence, clear communication, and unwavering commitment to factual accuracy. These principles aligned perfectly with the approach I needed for presenting Grandpa Sam's inheritance provisions. Concurrent with the communication training, I pursued advanced education in estate planning and trust administration through online courses offered by the American Bar Association. Although I was not pursuing legal certification, understanding the technical aspects of inheritance law would enable me to answer questions and address challenges with professional competence during family discussions. The legal education revealed the sophisticated planning and forethought that Grandpa Sam had invested in creating the trust arrangements. I learned that his approach represented best practices in estate planning for complex family situations where traditional inheritance patterns might not serve the intended purposes. This knowledge provided additional confidence in the legitimacy and wisdom of his decisions. The coursework also taught me about fiduciary responsibilities and ethical obligations that would accompany my role as primary trust beneficiary. Understanding these responsibilities helped me recognize that inheriting significant assets would require ongoing education and strategic decision-making that extended far beyond simply receiving financial resources. I also pursued specialized training in financial management and investment principles through workshops offered by the Millbrook Investment Advisory Council. The inheritance would require sophisticated financial planning and asset management skills that I had not previously needed to develop. The training covered portfolio management, tax planning, and strategic philanthropy that would enable responsible stewardship of the inherited assets. The financial education revealed opportunities for using the inheritance resources to create ongoing value for our family and community. While honoring Grandpa Sam's intentions and values, I learned about establishing educational foundations, supporting entrepreneurial ventures, and creating sustainable funding mechanisms for community service initiatives. This broader perspective on inheritance management helped me recognize that the upcoming Christmas revelation represented only the beginning of a much larger responsibility for family leadership and community contribution. The knowledge motivated me to develop comprehensive plans for using the assets in ways that would demonstrate wisdom and strategic thinking while benefiting multiple stakeholders. Personal development activities during this period focused on building emotional resilience and psychological strength for managing family conflict and potential ongoing tensions. I began working with a licensed counselor who specialized in family dynamics and inheritance-related stress. The counseling sessions provided valuable support for processing my own emotions, while developing strategies for maintaining mental health during challenging family interactions. The counseling work helped me understand that my lifelong feelings of being undervalued within our family had created both vulnerability and strength that would affect how I approached the upcoming confrontation. The vulnerability could lead to defensive reactions or emotional overwhelm if not properly managed. However, the experience had also developed empathy and resilience that could serve as advantages during difficult conversations. The counselor taught specific techniques for managing anxiety and stress during high-pressure situations. These methods included breathing exercises, visualization techniques, and cognitive strategies for maintaining perspective during emotionally charged conversations. The skills would prove essential for remaining calm and confident while delivering potentially shocking information to family members. I also invested time in studying successful family business leaders and inheritance recipients who had navigated similar challenges while maintaining family relationships and achieving positive outcomes. The research revealed common patterns among individuals who successfully managed complex family dynamics while exercising significant financial authority. The most successful inheritance recipients demonstrated consistent characteristics, including clear communication, generous consideration for family members, strategic philanthropy, and unwavering commitment to using inherited resources responsibly. These examples provided models for the kind of leadership approach I wanted to develop for managing Grandpa Sam's legacy. The research also revealed common mistakes that led to family conflicts, legal disputes, and damaged relationships following inheritance revelations. These negative examples helped me identify potential pitfalls and develop strategies for avoiding actions or decisions that could unnecessarily damage family bonds while pursuing necessary changes in family dynamics. During this skill development period, I also focused on strengthening my existing professional capabilities in photography and writing. The inheritance would provide resources for expanding these creative pursuits, but success would still require excellent technical skills and artistic vision. I enrolled in advanced photography workshops and writing seminars that would enhance my ability to use creative talents for meaningful community contribution. The creative skill development served multiple purposes beyond technical improvement. The activities provided emotional outlets for processing the complex feelings associated with inheritance planning and family conflict preparation. They also reinforced my identity and values as a creative professional whose work had intrinsic worth regardless of family recognition or approval. I established a personal practice routine that included daily writing exercises, photography projects, and reflection activities that maintained connection with my authentic interests and values during a period when family pressures and inheritance responsibilities could have overwhelmed my sense of personal identity. The skill development phase also included practical preparation for the immediate logistics of Christmas dinner and the inheritance revelation. I practiced reading portions of Grandpa Sam's will aloud to develop the poise and authority necessary for delivering the information effectively. The practice sessions helped me identify potential emotional triggers and develop strategies for maintaining composure during the actual presentation. I prepared detailed notes and documentation that would support the inheritance presentation and answer anticipated questions about legal provisions, timing, and implementation. The preparation materials were organized to enable clear, factual responses to family inquiries while maintaining focus on Grandpa Sam's intentions and reasoning. The comprehensive skill development activities culminated in a personal assessment of my readiness for the upcoming Christmas confrontation. I evaluated my communication capabilities, emotional resilience, legal knowledge, and strategic planning to determine whether I possessed the competencies necessary for successfully managing the inheritance revelation and its aftermath. The assessment revealed significant growth in confidence, knowledge, and practical skills that had occurred during the preparation period. I recognized that the systematic development activities had transformed my approach to family relationships, from passive accommodation to strategic leadership, based on legal authority and professional competence. The skill development journey had also clarified my long-term vision for using the inheritance resources to honor Grandpa Sam's legacy while pursuing my own values and interests. I understood that success would require ongoing learning and development, but I felt confident that I possessed the foundation necessary for beginning this important responsibility. As Christmas approached, I carried the knowledge that months of intensive preparation had equipped me with the capabilities necessary for handling whatever challenges would emerge from revealing Grandpa Sam's true assessment of our family dynamics. The communication training, legal education, financial planning skills, and emotional resilience work had created a comprehensive foundation for family leadership that extended far beyond the immediate inheritance situation. The skill development phase had transformed my understanding of my own capabilities and potential, while providing concrete tools for managing complex family relationships and significant financial responsibilities. I was prepared to step into the leadership role that Grandpa Sam had envisioned, while maintaining my authentic values and commitment to using inherited resources for meaningful contribution to family and community welfare. With enhanced communication skills and comprehensive legal knowledge now supporting my preparation, the time had arrived to conduct thorough assessment of the resources that would become available through Grandpa Sam's Inheritance Trust. This evaluation would determine not only my immediate financial security, but also my capacity for implementing long-term strategic plans that could transform both my personal circumstances and our family dynamics in meaningful ways. The trust documentation revealed asset categories that extended far beyond simple monetary inheritance. Grandpa Sam had assembled a comprehensive portfolio of real estate holdings, business investments, financial securities, and personal property that represented decades of strategic accumulation and careful management. The scope and diversity of these assets demonstrated his sophisticated understanding of wealth building and preservation principles that would provide multiple streams of income and opportunity. The real estate portfolio included 7 commercial properties throughout the metropolitan area, each generating substantial rental income from established business tenants. The properties ranged from small office buildings in emerging downtown districts to larger retail complexes in established suburban markets. Grandpa Sam had selected these investments based on location analysis, growth potential, and long-term value appreciation prospects that reflected his strategic thinking about community development patterns. The crown jewel of the real estate holdings was the original Thornton family homestead, a magnificent Victorian mansion situated on 12 acres of pristine countryside just outside Millbrook Heights. The property had been in our family for 4 generations and held immeasurable sentimental value beyond its substantial financial worth. Grandpa Sam's decision to leave this property specifically to me represented both honor and responsibility for preserving family history and heritage. The business investment portfolio revealed Grandpa Sam's participation in numerous entrepreneurial ventures and established companies that aligned with his values regarding innovation, community service, and ethical business practices. These investments included minority ownership stakes in technology startups, healthcare innovations, educational service companies, and sustainable energy projects. The diversity of these holdings provided both current income and growth potential, while supporting businesses that contributed positively to community welfare. The financial securities component of the inheritance included carefully managed stock portfolios, bond investments, and specialized funds that generated consistent returns while maintaining conservative risk profiles. Grandpa Sam had worked with professional investment advisors to create balanced portfolios that could provide steady income while preserving capital for future generations. The financial management demonstrated his commitment to responsible stewardship that would enable long-term family security. Personal property included in the inheritance encompassed items of both financial and sentimental significance. Grandpa Sam's extensive collection of first edition books, historical documents, and family artifacts represented cultural wealth that connected our family heritage to broader historical narratives. His collection of original artwork by regional artists provided both aesthetic enjoyment and investment value, while supporting the creative community he had championed throughout his lifetime. The comprehensive asset assessment revealed total inheritance value that exceeded my most optimistic projections. The combined worth of real estate, business investments, financial securities, and personal property represented generational wealth that could provide complete financial independence while enabling substantial philanthropic contributions and family support initiatives. However, understanding the financial scope of the inheritance represented only the beginning of strategic planning for responsible asset management and implementation of Grandpa Sam's vision for family transformation. The inheritance included specific provisions and expectations that would require careful consideration and strategic decision-making to honor his intentions while pursuing my own values and objectives. The trust provisions included requirements for maintaining certain charitable contributions, supporting educational initiatives, and investing in community development projects that aligned with Grandpa Sam's lifetime commitments. These obligations were not burdensome restrictions, but rather strategic guidelines that would ensure the inherited wealth continued generating positive community impact while providing personal fulfillment and purpose. I developed comprehensive plans for reorganizing and optimizing the inherited assets to maximize both income generation and strategic flexibility. The real estate holdings could be enhanced through property improvements and tenant relationship management that would increase rental income while maintaining positive community impact. The business investments could be expanded through additional capital contributions that would accelerate growth while aligning with ethical business practices. The financial planning process also addressed tax optimization strategies that would minimize inheritance taxes while ensuring compliance with all legal requirements. Professional consultation with estate planning attorneys and certified public accountants provided guidance for structuring the asset transfers and ongoing management in ways that preserved maximum value while meeting all fiduciary obligations. Strategic philanthropy planning represented a significant component of resource assessment and allocation strategy. Grandpa Sam had expressed strong preferences for supporting educational access, creative arts programs, and community development initiatives that addressed systemic barriers to opportunity and success. I developed preliminary plans for establishing grant programs and scholarship funds that would honor his legacy while addressing contemporary community needs. The philanthropic strategy included provisions for supporting emerging artists and creative professionals who faced financial barriers similar to those I had experienced throughout my career development. The programs would provide equipment grants, mentorship opportunities, and exhibition funding that could accelerate artistic development while building supportive creative communities. Educational initiatives within the philanthropic planning addressed Grandpa Sam's belief that access to quality education represented the foundation for individual success and community progress. The planned programs would provide scholarship support for students from underserved communities while funding innovative educational approaches that emphasized creativity, critical thinking, and practical skill development. Community development components of the philanthropic strategy focused on supporting small business development, affordable housing initiatives, and infrastructure improvements that could enhance quality of life while creating economic opportunities for residents of diverse socioeconomic backgrounds. These programs reflected Grandpa Sam's understanding that community prosperity required comprehensive approaches that addressed multiple factors affecting opportunity and success. Family support planning represented another crucial element of resource assessment and strategic allocation. While the inheritance was designated primarily for my benefit, I recognized opportunities for using portions of the assets to address financial challenges and support aspirations of other family members in ways that could improve relationships while honoring principles of fairness and generosity. I developed preliminary plans for establishing educational funds for younger cousins, providing low-interest loans for family members pursuing entrepreneurial ventures, and creating shared investment opportunities that could benefit multiple family branches while maintaining family unity and cooperation. These initiatives would demonstrate that the inheritance represented opportunity for collective family advancement rather than individual enrichment at the expense of others. The strategic planning process also addressed potential challenges and risks associated with managing significant inherited wealth while maintaining family relationships and personal authenticity. I recognized that sudden acquisition of substantial assets could create jealousy, resentment, and expectations that might strain family bonds if not managed thoughtfully and transparently. Risk mitigation strategies included establishing clear communication protocols for discussing inheritance-related decisions with family members, creating advisory structures that would provide guidance and accountability for major financial decisions, and maintaining professional financial management services that would ensure responsible stewardship regardless of personal circumstances or family pressures. Legal protection measures were implemented to safeguard the inherited assets from potential family disputes, economic downturns, or personal emergencies that could threaten long-term financial security. These protections included trust structures that preserved capital while providing income, insurance policies that covered potential liabilities, and diversification strategies that minimized exposure to specific market risks or economic sectors. The comprehensive resource assessment revealed that the inheritance would provide not only personal financial security, but also significant capacity for family leadership and community impact that aligned perfectly with my values and aspirations. The assets would enable expansion of my photography and writing careers, while supporting educational and philanthropic initiatives that could create lasting positive change. Personal development planning within the resource management strategy addressed the reality that managing significant wealth would require ongoing education and skill development beyond my current capabilities. I established plans for pursuing advanced education in financial management, nonprofit administration, and strategic philanthropy that would enhance my effectiveness as a responsible steward of inherited resources. The planning process also included provisions for assembling professional advisory teams that would provide expertise in areas where my knowledge and experience were limited. These teams would include financial advisors, estate planning attorneys, tax professionals, and philanthropic consultants who could ensure that inheritance management reflected best practices while serving intended purposes effectively. Technology and systems planning addressed the need for sophisticated financial tracking, investment monitoring, and communication platforms that would enable efficient management of diverse assets and initiatives. The technological infrastructure would provide transparency and accountability, while streamlining administrative processes that could otherwise consume excessive time and attention. Timeline development for inheritance implementation created specific milestones and objectives that would guide decision-making and measure progress toward long-term goals. The timeline balanced immediate needs for financial security and family communication with longer-term objectives for community impact and family transformation. As Christmas approached, the comprehensive resource assessment and strategic planning had created a foundation of confidence and clarity that would support effective communication during the upcoming family gathering. I understood not only what resources would become available, but also how those resources could be utilized to honor Grandpa Sam's legacy while pursuing meaningful personal and community objectives. The planning process had transformed my perspective on the inheritance from simple financial windfall to strategic opportunity for family leadership and community contribution. I recognized that the Christmas revelation would mark the beginning of significant responsibility that would require continued learning, careful decision-making, and unwavering commitment to principles that had motivated Grandpa Sam's lifetime of service and achievement. The comprehensive preparation had equipped me with clear vision for using inherited resources to create positive change while maintaining family relationships and personal authenticity. I was prepared to present not only the inheritance information but also preliminary plans for responsible stewardship that would demonstrate wisdom and strategic thinking to family members who might initially respond with skepticism or concern about my capability for managing significant assets effectively. The final week before Christmas required careful orchestration of timing, communication, and strategic positioning that would maximize the effectiveness of revealing Grandpa Sam's inheritance provisions while minimizing unnecessary family conflict. This phase demanded sophisticated understanding of family psychology, conflict management principles, and change implementation strategies that extended far beyond simple information delivery. My approach emphasized establishing credibility and authority before introducing controversial or shocking information. The inheritance revelation would carry greater impact and acceptance if presented within a framework that demonstrated competence, preparation, and thoughtful consideration for family welfare. This strategic foundation would prove essential for managing the emotional reactions that would inevitably accompany such significant revelations. The communication strategy began with preliminary conversations designed to establish my position as a knowledgeable and reliable family member capable of handling important responsibilities. During the weeks leading up to Christmas, I initiated discussions with various family members about estate planning, inheritance management, and family legacy preservation. These conversations served dual purposes of demonstrating expertise, while gathering intelligence about family attitudes and expectations regarding Grandpa Sam's estate. These preliminary discussions revealed significant misconceptions and assumptions among family members about inheritance provisions and Grandpa Sam's intentions. Most family members assumed that estate distribution had been completed during the initial will reading 8 months earlier. They believed that remaining assets would eventually pass to my father as the eldest son and primary heir according to traditional family patterns. The conversations also exposed underlying tensions and concerns about family financial security and future planning. Several family members expressed anxiety about potential inheritance taxes, ongoing estate administration costs, and the responsibility for maintaining family properties and traditions. These concerns provided opportunities for positioning my upcoming revelations as solutions to existing problems, rather than additional complications. I developed specific talking points that would address these concerns while establishing my credibility as someone who had invested significant effort in understanding complex estate matters. The preparation included researching current estate tax regulations, trust administration procedures, and family wealth management best practices that would enable informed responses to technical questions or challenges. The timing strategy for the inheritance revelation required careful consideration of family dynamics, holiday traditions, and optimal moments for introducing significant information. Christmas dinner provided the ideal setting because it represented our family's most formal gathering, where all relevant parties would be present, and expectations for important announcements were culturally established. However, the timing within the dinner sequence required strategic planning to maximize effectiveness while respecting family traditions and social protocols. The revelation needed to occur after initial holiday pleasantries and family updates, but before the evening devolved into casual conversation or potential conflicts that might overshadow the inheritance information. I coordinated with my mother regarding the dinner agenda to ensure appropriate time would be allocated for reading portions of Grandpa Sam's will, as requested in his instructions. This coordination was presented as fulfilling a specific legal obligation rather than a personal initiative, which reduced potential resistance while establishing the legitimacy of the announcement. The presentation strategy emphasized factual information delivery rather than dramatic revelation or emotional manipulation. I prepared comprehensive documentation that would support the inheritance announcement and provide immediate answers to anticipated questions about legal validity, implementation timelines, and family implications. The documentation included copies of relevant trust provisions, attorney contact information for independent verification, and preliminary plans for inheritance implementation that demonstrated responsible stewardship intentions. This preparation would enable transparent communication while preventing accusations of secrecy or manipulation that could undermine family relationships. Target audience analysis revealed different family members who would require customized communication approaches based on their personalities, concerns, and relationships with both Grandpa Sam and myself. My parents would need reassurance that the inheritance arrangements reflected careful planning, rather than impulsive decisions that might threaten family stability or traditional succession patterns. Victoria would require clear explanations of the legal foundations supporting the inheritance provisions and the reasoning behind Grandpa Sam's decisions. Her competitive nature and professional background would demand concrete evidence and logical justification, rather than emotional appeals or personal testimonials. Extended family members would need information about how the inheritance arrangements might affect their own family positions and future opportunities. The communication would emphasize collaborative possibilities and mutual benefits, rather than exclusive advantages that might create resentment or division. The value proposition development focused on presenting the inheritance as an opportunity for enhanced family unity and expanded community contribution, rather than individual enrichment at the expense of others. This framing would reduce potential jealousy while establishing positive expectations for inheritance utilization. The value proposition emphasized how the inherited resources would enable educational support for younger family members, enhanced family gatherings and traditions, expanded charitable contributions that would honor Grandpa Sam's legacy, and business investment opportunities that could benefit multiple family branches. This comprehensive approach demonstrated consideration for collective family welfare while maintaining clear authority over inheritance decisions. Risk mitigation strategies addressed potential negative reactions or challenges that might emerge during or after the inheritance revelation. These strategies included legal protections for inheritance assets, professional mediation resources for family disputes, and alternative communication channels for family members who might need additional time or support for processing the information. The risk assessment identified Victoria's potential emotional reaction as the primary concern requiring careful management. Her public declaration about my family status would provide the perfect opportunity for inheritance revelation, but her subsequent shock and possible anger would need to be addressed with empathy, while maintaining firm boundaries about legal realities. Preparation for managing Victoria's reaction included developing specific responses to common challenges, such as questioning the legal validity of the arrangements, demanding explanation of the timing for revelation, and expressing concern about fairness or family unity. These responses would need to demonstrate understanding of her feelings while providing clear factual information about inheritance provisions and their implementation. Relationship-building activities during the weeks before Christmas focused on strengthening connections with family members who could provide emotional support and practical assistance during potentially difficult conversations. I invested additional time in meaningful discussions with relatives who had demonstrated appreciation for my creative work and community contributions. These relationship investments paid dividends in creating a foundation of family support that would prove valuable when inheritance information generated surprise or controversy. Several family members had already expressed private concerns about differential treatment patterns and had indicated respect for my independent achievements despite limited family recognition. The support network development also included maintaining strong relationships with professional advisors who could provide expert consultation and validation during family discussions. Mr. Mitchell's availability for telephone consultation during Christmas dinner would enable immediate verification of legal provisions and answer technical questions that might arise. Testing and validation processes involved rehearsing the inheritance presentation with trusted friends and professional advisors who could provide feedback about clarity, timing, and potential reactions. These practice sessions revealed opportunities for improving message delivery while identifying potential areas of confusion or concern that required additional preparation. The rehearsal process included role-playing exercises where advisors simulated different family member personalities and potential reactions. These exercises helped me develop emotional regulation skills and strategic response capabilities that would be essential for managing complex family dynamics during actual inheritance discussions. The practice sessions also provided opportunities for refining documentation and visual aids that would support the inheritance presentation. The materials were organized to enable clear, sequential information delivery while providing immediate access to supporting details and verification resources. Implementation planning addressed the immediate steps that would follow the inheritance revelation, including legal procedures for asset transfer, communication with financial institutions and property managers, and coordination with professional service providers who would assist with inheritance management. The implementation timeline included specific milestones for completing legal requirements, establishing management systems for inherited assets, and beginning philanthropic initiatives that would demonstrate responsible stewardship while honoring Grandpa Sam's legacy and intentions. Financial management procedures were established to ensure smooth transition of asset control while maintaining transparency and accountability for inheritance decisions. These procedures included regular reporting mechanisms for family members who might have legitimate interests in inheritance utilization and impact. As Christmas Eve arrived, the comprehensive preparation had created a foundation of confidence and strategic clarity that would support effective navigation of whatever challenges would emerge during the family gathering. The communication strategy, documentation preparation, relationship building, and implementation planning had transformed the inheritance revelation from a potentially chaotic family crisis into a managed transition toward enhanced family leadership and community contribution. The strategic preparation had also reinforced my understanding that successful family transformation required more than simply revealing inheritance information. The process demanded ongoing commitment to transparent communication, collaborative decision-making, and generous consideration for family members who might initially struggle with changed family dynamics. The market entry strategy had positioned me not as someone seeking to disrupt family traditions, but rather as a family member prepared to assume responsibility for continuing Grandpa Sam's legacy while enhancing opportunities for collective family advancement and community service. This positioning would prove essential for maintaining family relationships while exercising newfound authority and resources effectively. Christmas Eve arrived with the crystalline clarity that accompanies momentous occasions when preparation meets opportunity. As I dressed for dinner at our family home, I carried within me the accumulated weight of weeks of strategic planning, professional development, and emotional preparation that would soon be tested against the reality of family dynamics and long-established patterns of interaction. The formal dining room at our Millbrook Heights estate had been transformed for the occasion, with elaborate holiday decorations that reflected our family's commitment to maintaining traditional appearances and social expectations. The antique mahogany table gleamed under the illumination of inherited silver candlesticks, while carefully arranged evergreen centerpieces provided festive elegance that honored decades of family Christmas celebrations. The assembled family members represented the full spectrum of personalities and relationships that had shaped my understanding of belonging and value within our family structure. My parents occupied their traditional positions at opposite ends of the formal table, while Victoria sat in her customary place of honor to my father's right. Extended family members filled the remaining seats according to established protocols that reinforced generational hierarchies and social expectations. The initial conversation followed predictable patterns of holiday pleasantries, professional updates, and social accomplishments that characterized our family gatherings. Victoria dominated much of the discussion with detailed accounts of her recent promotion, new business development projects, and expanding social connections that impressed our parents and extended family members with their scope and sophistication. I participated in these conversations with measured engagement that demonstrated appropriate family interest, while conserving emotional energy for the significant revelation that would soon transform the evening's trajectory. The weeks of communication training and strategic preparation had equipped me with skills for managing social interactions, while maintaining focus on larger objectives and outcomes. As dinner progressed through multiple courses prepared by our family's longtime catering service, I monitored the conversation flow and family dynamics for the optimal moment to introduce the inheritance information. The timing needed to occur when family attention was focused and receptive, but before potential conflicts or controversial topics might create defensive attitudes that would complicate information delivery. The breakthrough moment arrived during a lull in conversation that followed dessert service and coffee presentation. My mother had begun discussing plans for preserving family traditions and maintaining our grandfather's legacy through continued holiday celebrations and community involvement. This topic provided the perfect transition for introducing information about Grandpa Sam's specific provisions for ensuring his values and intentions would continue beyond his lifetime. Speaking of preserving Grandpa Sam's legacy, I said with carefully modulated tone and confidence, I have been asked to share some additional information about his final wishes that he wanted revealed during our Christmas gathering. The statement immediately captured family attention while establishing the legitimacy of my announcement through reference to Grandpa Sam's specific instructions. The formality of my approach signaled that important information would follow while creating appropriate expectations for serious discussion rather than casual conversation. As many of you know, I continued, retrieving the carefully prepared documents from my briefcase. Mr. Mitchell contacted me several weeks ago to discuss certain provisions in Grandpa Sam's estate that were not addressed during the initial will reading last spring. Grandpa Sam left specific instructions that this information should be shared with our family during Christmas dinner. The documentation I presented included copies of the relevant trust provisions, correspondence from Mr. Mitchell's office, and preliminary implementation plans that demonstrated the comprehensive nature of the arrangements, while providing immediate verification of their authenticity and legal validity. The documents reveal that Grandpa Sam established an additional trust that was designed to address what he viewed as important family considerations that required special attention and planning. I explained, maintaining steady eye contact with family members while delivering information in clear, factual terms that emphasized Grandpa Sam's reasoning rather than my own interpretations or opinions. The initial family reaction reflected curiosity and mild surprise rather than alarm or concern. Several family members expressed interest in learning more about trust provisions, while others questioned why this information had not been revealed during the original estate proceedings. These responses provided opportunities for explaining the deliberate timing and strategic considerations that had motivated Grandpa Sam's approach to inheritance planning. Grandpa Sam wanted this information revealed at Christmas because he believed our family gatherings represented the most appropriate setting for discussing his hopes and expectations for our continued relationships and mutual support. I continued, establishing the emotional context that would help family members understand the personal significance of the inheritance arrangements. Victoria's first indication of concern emerged when I began reading specific portions of the trust documentation that identified me as the primary beneficiary for substantial assets, including real estate holdings, business investments, and financial securities that represented the majority of Grandpa Sam's accumulated wealth beyond the law firm and primary residence. I don't understand, Victoria interrupted with visible confusion and growing agitation. Why would Grandpa Sam create separate arrangements that were not discussed during the will reading? And why would Rachel be designated for such significant inheritance when she has never demonstrated serious commitment to family traditions or professional achievement? Her challenge provided the exact opening I had anticipated for addressing family misconceptions about my contributions and value while presenting Grandpa Sam's documented observations about family dynamics and treatment patterns. The moment represented the culmination of months of preparation and strategic planning that would now be tested against Victoria's reaction and family response. According to the documentation, I replied with calm authority while maintaining direct eye contact with Victoria. Grandpa Sam spent considerable time observing our family relationships and evaluating how different family members were recognized and supported in their personal and professional development. His notes indicate specific concerns about differential treatment and missed opportunities for encouraging diverse talents and contributions. The revelation that Grandpa Sam had been systematically documenting family interactions created immediate tension and defensive reactions from several family members who realized that their behavior and attitudes had been observed and evaluated by someone whose opinion carried significant weight within our family structure. The trust provisions include detailed explanations of Grandpa Sam's reasoning for these arrangements. I continued, reading directly from his handwritten notes that accompanied the legal documents. He wrote that Rachel has consistently demonstrated creativity, independence, and commitment to community service that represent the values I tried to instill in our family. Her achievements in photography and writing, combined with her volunteer work and dedication to helping others, reflect the principles that guided my own approach to business and life. The direct quotation from Grandpa Sam's writings provided external validation for my contributions and accomplishments, while establishing that the inheritance decisions reflected careful evaluation, rather than arbitrary preferences or emotional manipulation. The authority of his voice and reputation lent credibility to assessments that family members might otherwise dismiss or minimize. Victoria's response escalated as the implications of the inheritance revelation became clear. Her voice carried increasing frustration and disbelief as she processed information that fundamentally challenged her assumptions about family hierarchy and her own position within our inheritance expectations. "This is completely unfair and illogical," Victoria declared with rising emotional intensity. "I have achieved everything that our family values represent. I graduated with honors from Whitmore University, built a successful career in investment banking, and maintained the social connections and professional reputation that reflect well on our family name. Rachel has pursued hobby interests that have no real significance or contribution to our family's standing in the community." Her outburst revealed the competitive insecurities and defensive attitudes that had shaped our family dynamics for years, while providing the perfect opportunity for sharing Grandpa Sam's more comprehensive assessment of value and achievement that extended beyond conventional markers of success. Grandpa Sam addressed those concerns specifically in his documentation. Quote, I responded, turning to another section of his written observations. He wrote that true success requires more than following established paths and meeting conventional expectations. He believed that meaningful accomplishment comes from identifying unique opportunities and pursuing them with dedication and strategic thinking, regardless of whether others recognize or appreciate the value of those efforts. The conversation reached its crucial turning point when Victoria made the declaration that would provide the ultimate validation for Grandpa Sam's assessment and inheritance decisions. Her frustration and defensive anger culminated in the statement that I had anticipated and prepared for throughout weeks of strategic planning. "You know what, Rachel?" Victoria said with cold finality that captured the attention of every family member present. "You're not really family. You never have been. You don't understand our values. You don't contribute to our reputation or success, and you don't deserve the recognition or resources that should go to family members who have actually accomplished something meaningful." The silence that followed her declaration created space for the ultimate breakthrough moment that would transform family dynamics and establish new understanding of value, belonging, and legacy within our family structure. The months of preparation had led to this precise moment when all strategic planning would be tested against emotional reality. "I appreciate Victoria's honesty about her feelings," I said with composed authority that reflected confidence rather than defensiveness. However, Grandpa Sam's documentation suggests a different assessment of family contribution and value. Let me read his specific observations about the situation Victoria has just described. I retrieved the final section of Grandpa Sam's writings that addressed family dynamics and relationship patterns with the clarity and wisdom that had characterized his lifetime of observing human behavior and business relationships. Grandpa Sam wrote, "I have watched Victoria and Rachel develop into accomplished young women with different strengths and priorities that both reflect valuable aspects of human potential and achievement. However, I have also observed concerning patterns in how our family recognizes and supports these different approaches to success. Victoria's accomplishments in traditional professional areas receive enthusiastic celebration and recognition, while Rachel's achievements in creative fields and community service are minimized or overlooked entirely." The quotation provided external validation for my experiences, while establishing that family treatment patterns had been observed and documented by someone whose judgment carried unquestioned authority within our family structure. He continued, "This differential treatment reflects a narrow definition of success that fails to recognize the full spectrum of human contribution and value." Rachel's work as a photographer and writer creates beauty and meaning that enriches our community, while her volunteer efforts demonstrate commitment to service that represents the foundation of genuine success. These contributions deserve recognition and support equal to any professional achievement in traditional business or social settings. The breakthrough moment culminated when I read Grandpa Sam's final assessment that directly addressed Victoria's declaration about family belonging and value. Most importantly, I continued, reading his exact words with deliberate emphasis. "I have observed that Rachel consistently demonstrates the values of creativity, independence, and service to others that I consider essential for meaningful life and lasting happiness. These qualities, combined with her resilience in pursuing her own path, despite limited family support, convince me that she represents the best hope for continuing our family's positive impact on future generations. She belongs not only in our family but in the leadership position that will determine how our family resources are used to benefit others and honor the principles that guided my own life and career." The silence that followed this revelation was profound and transformative. Family members struggled to process information that fundamentally challenged their assumptions about family dynamics, inheritance expectations, and the true nature of value and achievement within our family legacy. The profound silence that followed Grandpa Sam's final assessment created a suspended moment, where decades of established family dynamics hung in balance against the revelation of documented truth and redistributed authority. Each family member processed the inheritance information according to their individual perspectives and emotional investments in existing hierarchies, creating a complex web of reactions that would require careful navigation and strategic management. Victoria's initial response demonstrated the psychological impact of having core assumptions about family structure and personal worth fundamentally challenged by external authority that could not be dismissed or minimized. Her composure, which had remained intact during my presentation of financial information and legal provisions, began to deteriorate as the full implications of Grandpa Sam's observations became clear. "This cannot be accurate," Victoria stated with strained control that masked deeper emotional turbulence. Grandpa Sam never expressed any concerns about family dynamics or differential treatment during his lifetime. If he had genuine issues with how our family operated, he would have addressed them directly, rather than creating secretive arrangements that were revealed only after his death. Her challenge addressed legitimate questions about Grandpa Sam's communication approach, while revealing her difficulty accepting that family dynamics she considered normal had been viewed as problematic by someone whose judgment she had always respected. The defensive response provided opportunities for sharing additional documentation about his attempts to address family concerns through direct conversation before resorting to estate planning solutions. According to Mr. Mitchell's records, I replied while retrieving correspondence that documented Grandpa Sam's efforts to promote family change through conventional channels. Grandpa Sam attempted multiple times to discuss these concerns with various family members. The documentation includes notes from conversations where he encouraged more equitable recognition and support for different types of achievements and contributions. The correspondence revealed specific instances where Grandpa Sam had expressed concern about family treatment patterns during private conversations with our parents, extended family members, and even Victoria herself. His efforts to promote change through direct communication had been unsuccessful, leading to his decision to address the situation through inheritance provisions that could not be ignored or dismissed. My father's reaction reflected the complex emotions of someone discovering that his own father had observed and documented family leadership failures while implementing solutions that transferred authority to the next generation. His response combined professional legal analysis with personal defensive reactions that created internal conflict between his roles as family patriarch and estate beneficiary. "Rachel," my father said with measured professional tone that reflected his legal training and experience with complex family situations, "these arrangements represent significant financial responsibilities and legal obligations that require comprehensive understanding and careful management. While your grandfather's confidence in your capabilities is evident, the practical implementation of these provisions will demand expertise and strategic planning that extends beyond creative pursuits and community activities." His statement acknowledged the legitimacy of the inheritance, while questioning my preparation for managing substantial assets and complex family responsibilities. The response provided opportunities for demonstrating the comprehensive professional development and strategic planning that had prepared me for exactly these challenges and obligations. "I appreciate those concerns, Dad," I responded while presenting documentation of the professional development activities, legal consultations, and strategic planning that had occurred during recent months. The inheritance includes specific provisions for professional advisory support, ongoing education requirements, and accountability mechanisms that ensure responsible stewardship while honoring Grandpa Sam's intentions and values. The documentation revealed that Grandpa Sam had anticipated potential concerns about my readiness for significant financial responsibility, and had created comprehensive support structures that would facilitate successful transition while maintaining family relationships and achieving intended outcomes. My mother's reaction demonstrated the emotional complexity of discovering that family dynamics she had considered appropriate had been viewed as problematic by her father-in-law, whose opinion she had always valued and respected. Her response reflected maternal protective instincts combined with social concerns about family reputation and community perceptions of the inheritance arrangements. This situation creates significant challenges for family unity and public perception. My mother observed with characteristic attention to social implications and community standing. The revelation that Samuel harbored concerns about our family relationships and treatment patterns raises questions about our parenting decisions and family management that could affect our standing within the community and extended family networks. Her concerns addressed legitimate issues about potential gossip and speculation that might emerge from the inheritance revelation, while demonstrating her continued prioritization of external perceptions over internal family dynamics and relationships. Extended family members displayed varying reactions that reflected their different relationships with both Grandpa Sam and our immediate family members. Some relatives expressed surprise and concern about inheritance arrangements they had not anticipated, while others indicated private awareness of family dynamics that aligned with Grandpa Sam's documented observations. Uncle Robert, my father's younger brother, provided particularly valuable perspective based on his lifetime of observing family interactions from a position of respect but not direct authority within family decision-making processes. Samuel discussed these concerns with me on multiple occasions. Uncle Robert revealed with quiet authority that commanded family attention. He expressed worry that our family emphasis on traditional success markers was overshadowing recognition for other types of achievement and contribution. He specifically mentioned his admiration for Rachel's creativity and community service, along with his concern that these qualities were not receiving appropriate family support or encouragement. This external validation from another respected family member provided additional credibility for Grandpa Sam's assessments while reducing potential family speculation about his motivations or reasoning for the inheritance arrangements. The immediate practical challenges that emerged from the inheritance revelation required systematic approach to information management, family communication, and implementation planning that would preserve family relationships while establishing new operational frameworks for asset management and decision-making authority. Legal verification processes needed to be completed immediately to address family questions about the authenticity and enforceability of the trust provisions. Mr. Mitchell had prepared for this requirement by making himself available for telephone consultation during Christmas dinner, enabling real-time verification of legal provisions and answers to technical questions about implementation procedures. The telephone consultation with Mr. Mitchell provided comprehensive confirmation of the inheritance arrangements while addressing specific family concerns about timing, legal validity, and implementation requirements. His professional authority and detailed knowledge of Grandpa Sam's planning process eliminated potential challenges to the inheritance legitimacy, while establishing clear procedures for asset transfer and management transition. Financial communication with banks, investment firms, and property management companies required immediate attention to ensure smooth transition of account authority and asset control, while maintaining operational continuity for businesses and properties included in the inheritance. The professional advisory team that had been assembled during preparation phases enabled efficient coordination of these transitions. Family counseling and relationship management emerged as immediate priorities for preserving family bonds, while implementing inheritance changes that fundamentally altered family dynamics and authority structures. The emotional processing requirements for family members would extend beyond Christmas dinner and require ongoing attention and strategic communication. Professional mediation services were engaged to provide neutral support for family discussions about inheritance implications and future relationship frameworks. The mediation approach emphasized collaborative problem-solving and mutual understanding, rather than adversarial positions that could damage family relationships permanently. Victoria's ongoing emotional processing created particular challenges that required empathetic understanding, combined with firm boundaries about inheritance realities and implementation requirements. Her shock and disappointment demanded acknowledgement and support, while maintaining clear communication about legal obligations and strategic decisions that could not be altered by family preferences or emotional reactions. The development of regular family communication protocols ensured that inheritance implementation would include transparency and collaboration opportunities for family members who wish to remain informed and engaged with estate management decisions. These protocols balanced family inclusion with efficient decision-making authority that honored Grandpa Sam's intentions and trust provisions. Community and professional network management required careful attention to external perceptions and communications about inheritance changes that could affect family reputation and business relationships. The approach emphasized positive messaging about family legacy continuation and enhanced community contribution, rather than conflict or dramatic wealth redistribution. Educational initiatives for family members about estate planning, inheritance management, and family business principles created opportunities for collaborative learning and shared understanding of complex financial and legal concepts that would affect family relationships and future planning decisions. The establishment of advisory committees that included family members alongside professional consultants provided structures for ongoing collaboration and decision-making support that honored family relationships while maintaining clear authority and accountability for inheritance management. Strategic philanthropy planning required immediate attention to demonstrate responsible stewardship while honoring Grandpa Sam's community service legacy through expanded charitable contributions and innovative program development. The philanthropic initiatives would provide visible evidence of inheritance utilization that aligned with family values and community expectations. Business development opportunities within the inherited assets created possibilities for family collaboration and shared financial benefits that could demonstrate the inheritance's positive impact on collective family welfare rather than individual enrichment at others' expense. The scaling challenges that emerged from the Christmas dinner revelation required systematic approaches to change management, relationship preservation, and operational efficiency that would determine whether the inheritance transformation achieved its intended outcomes of enhanced family unity and expanded community contribution. The immediate aftermath period established patterns and precedents for ongoing inheritance management that would influence family relationships and community impact for generations. The successful navigation of these initial challenges created foundation for continued family transformation according to principles that had motivated Grandpa Sam's comprehensive planning and strategic implementation through carefully orchestrated revelation timing and communication approaches. The breakthrough moment had successfully established new family dynamics based on documented truth and legitimate authority, but the ongoing success of these changes would depend on continued demonstration of wisdom, generosity, and strategic thinking that honored both family relationships and community responsibilities, while pursuing meaningful personal and professional objectives that aligned with inherited resources and opportunities. The 3 weeks following Christmas dinner revealed that transforming family dynamics through inheritance revelation represented only the beginning of a complex process that would test every aspect of my preparation and resilience. While the initial breakthrough had successfully established new family understanding of Grandpa Sam's intentions and my designated role as primary beneficiary, the implementation phase exposed unforeseen challenges that threatened to undermine the entire transformation effort. The first significant setback emerged when Victoria retained prominent estate litigation attorney Marcus Whitfield to challenge the validity of Grandpa Sam's supplemental trust provisions. Her legal action claimed that the additional inheritance arrangements represented fraudulent manipulation of an elderly individual's estate planning decisions, and demanded comprehensive review of all documents, communications, and financial transactions related to the trust establishment. The lawsuit filing created immediate complications that extended beyond simple family disagreement into formal legal proceedings that could potentially invalidate the entire inheritance structure. Victoria's professional background in investment banking had provided her with sophisticated understanding of financial regulations and estate law that enabled her to identify technical challenges and procedural questions that required extensive legal defense and documentation. Attorney Whitfield's initial filing raised concerns about the timing of trust establishment relative to Grandpa Sam's declining health, the complexity of provisions that seemed inconsistent with his previous estate planning approaches, and the apparent secrecy surrounding arrangements that had not been disclosed to other family members during his lifetime. These challenges demanded comprehensive response that could provide legal protection while addressing legitimate questions about estate planning procedures and family communication. The legal challenge created immediate stress and uncertainty that threatened to overwhelm the careful preparation and strategic planning that had supported the Christmas dinner revelation. The possibility that months of professional development and family relationship investment could be undermined by technical legal challenges forced me to confront the reality that transformation efforts sometimes face setbacks that require even greater resilience and strategic thinking than initial breakthrough achievements. The financial implications of extended litigation threatened to consume substantial resources that were intended for philanthropic initiatives and family support programs. Legal defense costs could easily exceed hundreds of thousands of dollars, while creating ongoing uncertainty about asset availability and implementation timelines that would delay or prevent achievement of inheritance objectives. More significantly, the public nature of estate litigation threatened to damage family relationships permanently, while creating community speculation and gossip that could affect our family's reputation and social standing within Millbrook Heights society. The prospect of extended legal conflict represented exactly the kind of family division that Grandpa Sam had hoped to prevent through careful planning and strategic communication. My initial reaction to the lawsuit filing reflected the emotional impact of having carefully prepared transformation efforts challenged through formal legal proceedings that questioned both my integrity and Grandpa Sam's decision-making capacity. The accusation that I had somehow manipulated an elderly family member for personal financial gain struck at fundamental questions of character and ethics that threatened my sense of identity and family belonging. The setback forced me to confront deeper questions about my own motivations and preparation that had not been fully tested during earlier phases of inheritance planning. The legal challenge demanded reflection about whether my approach to family transformation had been appropriate, and whether alternative strategies might have achieved similar outcomes without creating adversarial relationships and formal conflict. Professional consultation with estate litigation specialists revealed that Victoria's legal challenge possessed sufficient technical merit to require comprehensive defense that could extend through months of discovery proceedings, depositions, and expert testimony. The litigation process would demand extensive documentation of Grandpa Sam's mental capacity, estate planning procedures, and communication history that could expose private family matters to public scrutiny. The legal analysis also revealed potential vulnerabilities in trust documentation and establishment procedures that could provide grounds for successful challenge if not properly defended through expert testimony and comprehensive evidence presentation. These discoveries forced me to acknowledge that even carefully planned inheritance arrangements remain subject to legal challenges that could undermine intended outcomes. However, the legal consultation also provided reassurance about the fundamental strength of Grandpa Sam's estate planning and the extensive documentation that supported his decision-making process and mental capacity throughout trust establishment. The comprehensive records maintained by Mr. Mitchell's office and the involvement of multiple independent professionals in trust creation provided strong foundation for legal defense. The strategic response to Victoria's legal challenge required development of comprehensive litigation strategy that would protect inheritance assets while preserving possibilities for eventual family reconciliation and relationship restoration. The approach emphasized factual documentation and professional testimony rather than personal attacks or emotional arguments that could damage family relationships permanently. Expert witness preparation included retaining geriatric psychiatrists who could testify about Grandpa Sam's mental capacity and decision-making competence during trust establishment, estate planning attorneys who could explain standard procedures and best practices that had been followed, and family psychology experts who could address relationship dynamics and communication patterns that had motivated his inheritance decisions. The documentation process required detailed reconstruction of Grandpa Sam's estate planning timeline, including medical records, professional consultations, financial transactions, and family communications that could demonstrate his capacity and reasoning throughout trust development. This investigation revealed the extraordinary care and thoroughness that had characterized his approach to inheritance planning. The legal discovery process exposed previously unknown details about Grandpa Sam's observations and documentation of family dynamics that provided even stronger evidence for his concerns about differential treatment and recognition patterns. His private notes included specific examples and dates that corroborated my own experiences, while demonstrating systematic attention to family relationship patterns over multiple years. These discoveries strengthened my understanding that the inheritance arrangements reflected careful observation and strategic planning, rather than impulsive decisions or emotional reactions to isolated incidents. The comprehensive documentation demonstrated that Grandpa Sam's concerns had developed over extended periods through consistent observation of family interactions and treatment patterns. The litigation stress also created opportunities for deeper learning about conflict resolution, strategic communication, and leadership under pressure that enhanced my capability for managing complex situations and adversarial relationships. The experience demanded emotional regulation skills and strategic thinking abilities that exceeded anything required during inheritance preparation phases. Professional counseling support became essential for managing the psychological impact of legal challenge while maintaining perspective about long-term objectives and relationship preservation possibilities. The counseling process addressed both immediate stress management and strategic approaches for handling extended uncertainty and potential family relationship changes. The setback period also revealed the value of professional advisory networks and support systems that had been established during inheritance preparation. Legal professionals, financial advisors, and family counselors provided expertise and emotional support that enabled effective response to challenges while maintaining focus on fundamental objectives and values. Community reaction to news about estate litigation created additional challenges that required careful management of public perceptions and family reputation concerns. The approach emphasized transparent communication about legal proceedings while maintaining privacy about family relationship details and personal conflicts that were not relevant to public understanding. The learning experience taught valuable lessons about the importance of anticipating potential challenges and developing contingency plans that could address setbacks without compromising fundamental objectives or values. The litigation demonstrated that even carefully planned transformation efforts could face unexpected obstacles that required additional resources and strategic adaptation. The setback also reinforced the importance of maintaining long-term perspective during short-term challenges that could create emotional overwhelm and strategic confusion. The inheritance objectives remained valid and achievable, despite legal complications that created temporary uncertainty and additional complexity. Family relationship management during litigation required delicate balance between legal defense requirements and preservation of possibilities for eventual reconciliation and relationship restoration. The approach emphasized factual communication and professional conduct that avoided personal attacks while protecting legal interests and inheritance assets. The extended timeline for legal resolution created opportunities for demonstrating commitment to responsible stewardship and family welfare through preliminary philanthropic initiatives and community contribution programs that could be implemented despite ongoing legal uncertainty. These activities provided visible evidence of inheritance intentions while building community support for estate planning objectives. Strategic communication with extended family members and community leaders emphasized commitment to honoring Grandpa Sam's legacy through expanded charitable contributions and family support programs that aligned with his documented values and intentions. This messaging reinforced positive perceptions while addressing potential concerns about family conflict and legal disputes. The setback experience ultimately strengthened my understanding of inheritance responsibility and family leadership requirements that extended beyond initial asset acquisition to include ongoing management of complex relationships and strategic challenges. The litigation demanded demonstration of resilience, strategic thinking, and professional competence that validated Grandpa Sam's confidence in my capability for family leadership. The learning process also revealed opportunities for family education and communication that could address underlying concerns and misconceptions that had contributed to legal challenge and relationship tension. Future strategies would emphasize proactive family engagement and collaborative decision-making that could prevent similar conflicts while achieving inheritance objectives. The resolution approach focused on achieving legal victory while preserving possibilities for family relationship restoration through demonstrated competence, generous consideration for family concerns, and unwavering commitment to using inherited resources for meaningful community contribution and family welfare enhancement. The legal challenge period had provided invaluable insights into family dynamics, strategic vulnerabilities, and relationship management requirements that demanded fundamental reconsideration of my approach to inheritance implementation and family leadership. Rather than viewing Victoria's lawsuit as purely adversarial obstacle, I recognized the litigation process as a diagnostic tool that revealed underlying concerns and communication gaps that required systematic address through enhanced engagement strategies. The discovery proceedings had exposed previously hidden family perceptions and expectations that explained much of the resistance and confusion surrounding inheritance arrangements. Extended family members had harbored concerns about fairness, transparency, and decision-making authority that had not been adequately addressed during initial revelation and implementation phases. These insights provided foundation for strategic pivot toward more collaborative and inclusive approaches. The legal documentation process revealed that Grandpa Sam's estate planning had included provisions for adaptive implementation that could address changing family circumstances and emerging challenges through flexible trust administration and modified distribution strategies. These provisions had not been fully understood during initial inheritance planning, but offered opportunities for strategic adjustment that could achieve fundamental objectives while addressing legitimate family concerns. Professional consultation with family business transition specialists revealed common patterns in inheritance disputes that typically resulted from communication failures and relationship management oversights, rather than fundamental flaws in estate planning or beneficiary selection. The specialists emphasized that successful inheritance implementation required ongoing family engagement and collaborative decision-making processes that honored legal authorities while preserving family relationships. The strategic pivot began with comprehensive family communication initiative designed to address underlying concerns and misconceptions that had contributed to legal challenge and relationship tension. This initiative involved individual meetings with each family member to understand their perspectives, concerns, and suggestions for inheritance implementation that could serve collective family interests while honoring Grandpa Sam's documented intentions. The individual consultation process revealed significant insights about family member motivations and priorities that had been obscured during group discussions and formal legal proceedings. Victoria's legal challenge had been motivated not only by concerns about inheritance fairness, but also by deeper anxieties about family security and her own professional identity within changed family dynamics. My parents had experienced confusion and concern about inheritance arrangements primarily because they felt excluded from decision-making processes and uncertain about how asset management would affect family traditions and social standing within their community networks. Their concerns reflected legitimate needs for information and involvement rather than fundamental opposition to inheritance provisions. Extended family members had varied reactions based on their individual relationships with Grandpa Sam and their understanding of family history and values. Many relatives had privately supported inheritance arrangements while publicly maintaining neutral positions to avoid family conflict and preserve relationships with all parties involved in legal proceedings. The consultation process also revealed substantial family interest in collaborative approaches to inheritance utilization that could benefit multiple family members while achieving charitable and community objectives that aligned with Grandpa Sam's documented values and intentions. These discoveries provided foundation for developing modified implementation strategies that could satisfy legal requirements while addressing family relationship concerns. The strategic pivot incorporated Family Advisory Committee structure that provided formal mechanisms for family input and collaborative decision-making while maintaining clear legal authority and fiduciary responsibility for inheritance management. The committee included representatives from different family branches and generations who could provide diverse perspectives and expertise for strategic planning and program development. The advisory committee approach addressed family concerns about transparency and inclusion, while enabling more effective decision-making through collaborative expertise and shared responsibility for inheritance outcomes. Committee members contributed specialized knowledge in legal matters, financial management, charitable program development, and family relationship management that enhanced overall strategic capability. The modified implementation strategy emphasized demonstration of inheritance value through visible community impact and family benefit rather than theoretical plans and promises that had characterized initial approaches. Concrete philanthropic initiatives and family support programs provided immediate evidence of responsible stewardship while building confidence and support for long-term strategic objectives. Educational scholarship programs represented the first major initiative that demonstrated inheritance utilization for community benefit while honoring Grandpa Sam's commitment to expanding opportunities for young people facing financial barriers to higher education. The scholarship criteria emphasized creativity, community service, and independent thinking that reflected values underlying inheritance decisions. The scholarship program development involved collaboration with local educational institutions, community organizations, and family members who contributed expertise and connections that enhanced program effectiveness and community impact. The collaborative approach demonstrated how inheritance resources could catalyze broader community engagement and support beyond direct financial contributions. Small business development initiatives provided another avenue for demonstrating inheritance value through economic development and entrepreneurial support that aligned with Grandpa Sam's own business development history and community investment philosophy. The programs offered microfinance opportunities, mentorship support, and business development resources for emerging entrepreneurs facing capital and expertise barriers. The business development approach emphasized support for creative entrepreneurs and innovative ventures that reflected the independent thinking and creative problem-solving that had characterized my own professional development and had motivated Grandpa Sam's confidence in my inheritance readiness. These programs created visible connections between inheritance values and community economic development. Family support programs addressed immediate needs and opportunities within our extended family network through educational assistance, emergency financial support, and collaborative investment opportunities that demonstrated inheritance benefits for family members while maintaining appropriate boundaries and expectations for ongoing assistance. The family support approach balanced generous assistance with clear expectations for recipient responsibility and self-sufficiency that prevented dependency relationships while providing genuine help during challenging circumstances or opportunity development phases. These programs demonstrated commitment to family welfare while maintaining strategic focus on long-term benefit and sustainable assistance. Cultural arts initiatives honored both Grandpa Sam's appreciation for creativity and community enrichment, while providing platforms for demonstrating inheritance impact through visible community programs that enhanced quality of life and cultural opportunities within our metropolitan region. These programs supported emerging artists, cultural organizations, and creative education initiatives. The arts programming approach emphasized accessibility and community engagement that made cultural opportunities available to diverse populations, while building appreciation for creative expression and artistic achievement that had been undervalued within traditional family success frameworks. These initiatives provided concrete demonstration of inheritance values through community enhancement. Property development and community improvement initiatives utilized inherited real estate holdings for strategic community development projects that generated ongoing revenue while contributing to neighborhood improvement and affordable housing development. These projects demonstrated how inheritance assets could create sustainable value while addressing community needs. The property development approach emphasized sustainable design principles, community engagement processes, and affordable housing components that reflected commitment to social responsibility and environmental stewardship. These projects provided long-term demonstration of inheritance impact through visible community improvement and responsible development practices. The strategic communication campaign accompanying the pivot emphasized collaborative achievement and community benefit, rather than individual accomplishment or family conflict resolution. The messaging positioned inheritance implementation as continuation of Grandpa Sam's lifetime commitment to community service and family advancement through strategic resource utilization and innovative program development. Media relations and public communication strategies highlighted specific program achievements and community impact, rather than family dynamics or legal proceedings that had characterized earlier coverage. The approach emphasized positive outcomes and collaborative success stories that demonstrated inheritance value through concrete community benefit and family advancement. Professional development initiatives for family members provided opportunities for skills enhancement and career advancement that demonstrated inheritance commitment to collective family success, while building individual capabilities that could contribute to ongoing strategic implementation and program management. The professional development approach included educational funding, mentorship programs, and collaborative project opportunities that enabled family members to enhance their own capabilities while contributing to inheritance objectives and community benefit initiatives. These programs demonstrated investment in family human capital development alongside financial resource management. Technology and systems development created infrastructure for efficient inheritance management, family communication, and program monitoring that enabled transparent reporting and collaborative decision-making while maintaining professional administrative standards and accountability measures. The technology integration approach emphasized user-friendly platforms that facilitated family engagement and community interaction while providing sophisticated analytical capabilities for program evaluation and strategic planning. These systems demonstrated commitment to professional management and transparent communication that addressed concerns about inheritance administration and decision-making processes. Evaluation and monitoring frameworks established clear metrics and reporting procedures that enabled ongoing assessment of program effectiveness and strategic objective achievement, while providing accountability mechanisms that assured family members and community stakeholders about responsible resource utilization and impact generation. The strategic pivot had transformed inheritance implementation from individual responsibility into collaborative family initiative that honored Grandpa Sam's intentions, while addressing legitimate family concerns and building sustainable relationships that could support long-term success and community impact. The approach demonstrated how initial setbacks could become catalysts for enhanced strategic thinking and more effective implementation approaches that achieved superior outcomes through inclusive processes and collaborative expertise. The strategic pivot toward collaborative family leadership and community-focused implementation began generating measurable results that exceeded initial projections while establishing sustainable momentum for long-term success. The 6 months following the strategic restructuring demonstrated how inclusive approaches to inheritance management could amplify impact while building stronger family relationships and broader community support networks. The Educational Scholarship Program achieved remarkable success in its inaugural year, providing full university scholarships to 12 outstanding students from underserved communities throughout the metropolitan region. The selection criteria emphasized creative thinking, community service commitment, and resilience in overcoming obstacles, reflecting the values that had motivated Grandpa Sam's confidence in my leadership capabilities. The scholarship recipients represented diverse academic interests ranging from fine arts and creative writing to sustainable engineering and social work. Each student brought unique perspectives and experiences that enriched the program, while demonstrating how financial barriers had previously prevented talented individuals from pursuing higher education and career advancement opportunities. The program's reputation for identifying exceptional students with limited financial resources attracted attention from university admissions officers, community leaders, and philanthropic organizations that recognized the sophisticated selection processes and comprehensive support services that accompanied each scholarship award. This recognition established the scholarship program as a model for effective educational philanthropy that addressed systemic barriers through strategic resource allocation. Local universities began partnering with the scholarship program to provide enhanced mentorship opportunities, internship placements, and career development resources that expanded the impact beyond financial assistance. These partnerships demonstrated how inheritance resources could catalyze broader institutional support and community engagement that multiplied the effectiveness of philanthropic investments. The Small Business Development Initiative experienced equally impressive growth, providing microfinance support and business mentorship to 37 emerging entrepreneurs during its first operational year. The program emphasized creative businesses, innovative service providers, and community-focused enterprises that reflected the entrepreneurial spirit and community commitment that characterized Grandpa Sam's own business development philosophy. Successful program participants included a sustainable urban farming cooperative that provided fresh produce to food-insecure neighborhoods, a technology consulting service specializing in nonprofit organization support, and an artisan marketplace that showcased work by local creators while providing fair compensation and professional development opportunities. The business development program's success rate exceeded industry standards for microfinance initiatives, with 92% of supported businesses achieving profitability within 18 months of program participation. This achievement attracted attention from economic development agencies and community investment organizations that sought to replicate the program's methodology and collaborative approach. Regional business publications featured program success stories that highlighted innovative approaches to community economic development while establishing my reputation as an effective philanthropic leader capable of creating sustainable impact through strategic resource allocation and community partnership development. The cultural arts initiatives achieved significant visibility through high-profile community events and installations that demonstrated how inheritance resources could enhance quality of life while supporting creative professionals and cultural organizations. The inaugural Millbrook Heights Creative Festival attracted over 15,000 visitors and generated substantial media coverage that showcased regional artistic talent while establishing annual tradition for community cultural celebration. The festival programming included exhibitions featuring work by scholarship recipients and emerging artists, performances by community theater groups and musical organizations, and interactive workshops that engaged families and students in creative exploration and artistic skill development. The comprehensive approach demonstrated how cultural programming could serve multiple community needs while building appreciation for creative expression and artistic achievement. Professional artists and cultural organizations throughout the region began approaching the program for collaboration opportunities and funding support, recognizing the sophisticated programming approach and substantial resource commitment that characterized the initiative. These inquiries enabled strategic expansion of cultural programming while maintaining focus on community accessibility and artist development. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.